when they shortened this track and started racing IMCA's when we started coming up here, but it's a really fun track to race on. It gets kind of dry, a little dusty once in a while, but we've won a lot of races up here, so we enjoy coming up here. I got my son that races, just started this year. He races hobby stocks. And then I got 5 brothers that race. There's Dustin don't race as much as he used to. He's kind of having a little back trouble with that modified, so he quit doing that. But then you got Donavon and Devin in a stock car, Doug in a sport mod, and my brother Daniel's in a hobby stock with Mike here. This is Mike. He just started this year. He's 15. He couldn't get his car here tonight because he couldn't find anybody to pull it here. But he's getting better and better every week. You know, he's getting some laps in, and he's learning, so he's gaining. Well, I probably started about when I graduated from high school. We started racing a little bit in '92, and just kind of gradually started in the enduros, because we used to have a huge enduro here in Spencer. We used to race, you know, every fair. And from there we went from enduros to like econo stocks, and then from there I just kept stepping up, hobby stock, stock car. And then as these guys got older, you know, they graduated from high school too, they started racing too, and same way, they start in the lower classes and kind of moved up. So it's been quite a few years now. It started with me. My dad never even thought of racing, not once. And we started from scratch. We knew nobody in racing. We didn't have anything. We had to buy everything. I mean, just a lot of hard work and basically just learning as we go, you know. And we've done well for what we started with, I think. So.
I started figure eights probably 96, 95, something like that. And then circle track probably 99. I always went with David. But that's where we started figure eight, and that's where he started. Well, and then we came up here for the enduros, and that was fun with this big track. I mean, that was a racetrack, and that was a blast. And that's what really got us into the circle track, was the enduros up here that they had during the fair.
I started in a hobby stock. Actually, they called a bomber class, which is a strictly stock car. You pretty much knock windows out, go race, roll cage. Then I went to a hobby stock, which my nephew races now. Got claimed a lot back when they had the open motor rule. I lost like 8 motors my last year in 2009. So I decided to go to Northern Sport my class, where they ran a crate motor and you can't get claimed. So I've been there since '09. Just more things we can tweak with underneath. It's got a lot more suspension parts than like a stock car like Dave and Donovan and Devin. And you can fine tune it perfect for track conditions, and just more stuff to toy with. Keeps me busy all week in the shop when I'm not racing.
See, it was kind of growing pains for me, and them guys just kind of stepped into it. You know, it was a little easier for them because after I got established, we had the tools. So them guys did a little better than I did when I first started, because I didn't have nothing. You know, I didn't even know what to do. And once we got it figured out, it was a little easier for them to get started and get going and winning right away. You know, I didn't even know what it was like to win. You know, I never knew what tranny to run. I didn't know what motor to run. You know, I didn't know what rear end gear to run. I didn't even know what a good car was. You know, there was no such thing back then as scaling your car, or, you know, we just took a car and took the windows out of it and ran it, you know. Now it's not like that nowadays. I just kind of watched when I'd go to the race and look at other people's stuff, and kind of a little bit nosy, you know, and just gradually learned, you know. So
as far as all you brothers competing against one another, how does that work?
Well, see, I only had to deal with that for like 2 years in a hobby stock. My last 2 years in the hobby stock, they were just getting out too, going to a stock car, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, me and Devin roughed each other up a few times at Alta, but we both want to win. So, I mean, if we hit, it's a racing deal mostly.
There's tension once in a while, but most of the time it's all good. There's more important things to worry about than this.
You get in that car, you don't think of anything else that's wrong in your life except what's going on that track. It erases everything. It's a drug.
Just getting in the car and just not thinking of anything else, like he said, and just going out and have fun.
I don't know, the competitiveness, you know, you always want to win, and It's just a rush in the car. I like it. I like a rush.
Was it kind of scary getting in the car for the first time? You know, you don't even have your driver's license yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary just not knowing what it's going to do, but now I'm starting to trust it more and more every time.
I mean, I'm getting close to where I think I'm going to have to maybe just help him, you know, my boy. And it just costs too much, you know. It costs a lot of money to put these cars on the track every week. You know, the tires and the motors, and we'll just see. You know, as long as I keep winning once in a while, I'm all right. But I don't want to be one of them cars that's a field filler. You know, if I can't win, I ain't gonna do this anymore.
Well, we have a little circle track at our house, like that we used to race foolers on, and we used to have like a little sprint car. And that's how we always practiced when we were littler.
David was 31 in his figure 8 car. So I was 35 in my figure 8 car, and I've been 35 ever since. Then David, why he switched to 8 is because he was the 8th person to register for the Enduro up here, and he's been 8 ever since then.
Well, my number was Spencer Enduro. I started 8th in it, and that was back when you came to the race, and as you came through the gate, that was your number. So if you were the first car here, your number was 1. If you was the 90th car here, you was 90, and that year I was 8. And that number stuck through all my racing.
I came up with my number for my car because I played sports all through school, and that was my number, so I just stuck with it. And track conditions, when you get to the open wheel class, you don't like a muddy or tacky track. You like it dry, but you want to see where you're going. But you like it dry because then it's racy for us. Because you got more suspension parts moving, you grip the track better than these other cars. That's why we're always faster. So I prefer a dry track.
I like dry, and I want to say I like low, but I'm starting to creep up a little bit. So usually dry though. I like dry.
I like them tracks where it's kind of spotty, where there's little strips here and there. Them are the tracks I really like. I don't like dust. I hate it when I can't see. Too much money invested. You know, I got to go home and work and do chores and stuff the next day. I don't want to be in a wreck because I couldn't see. So I like the spotty tracks.
Did you help your dad work on his cars, or your uncles work on their cars? Or?
Yeah, before I started racing, I did that a lot, but I mean, I still do it a lot.
We all work at Dave's shop on a farm outside of Lake City, our hometown, and every one of us works on our cars there. I mean, if David wrecks real bad, we'll all pitch in, help him get his car done if we're clean, you know. I mean, it's pretty much a group effort. Otherwise, we do our own thing to our own car if nothing's wrong and go racing.
I'm glad we still got some tracks that are open like this one, you know.
Where all do you race at, too?
Well, you know, you see a lot of tracks have trouble, you know, getting promoters and stuff, and we're lucky to have a track like this, you know. It ain't real close to me, but close enough. They're getting, you know, there's tracks shutting down, so I just like supporting it. And normally I race in Alta. I'll go to Boone once in a while. Years ago, I used to race a lot in Harlan, Denison, Britt, Algona. Just some years I just change my plan and go somewhere else, but I always tend to race here in Alta.
I race here at Spencer and Boone Speedway, and I've just been hopping around to Algona, Britt, Stewart, Alta. I mean, wherever.
I got about, I would say, 20-some nights in and 7 wins, so it's not been too bad. Won some big specials, so that helps.
Won some, lost some, you know how that is. But you always want to win more, but we're running good, so we're having a good year.
I'm getting better and better every week. In Alta, I was leading the whole thing till the very last lap, and I just messed up a little bit, and they passed me. And then last night in Boone, I was leading with like 5 to go, and I just got moved out of the way and got second.
It's all right. I wish I had more wins, but I've had a lot of good finishes. So, I mean, we're there. We're not quite all the way there, but we're getting there.